Hello and welcome to the new coffee chat for December. This is probably my favorite coffee chat of the year because it's the kickoff to Vlogmas, and y'all know how I feel about Vlogmas, and we're gonna talk about that in just a little bit, but it's my favorite one. I am so excited. I'm filming in a slightly different place today because first of all, I'm in full decorating mode, so my office kind of becomes like a dumping ground for all the extra stuff. So right now it's just like covered in Christmas stuff. So that's one. And then the other thing is just I was lamenting about how dark it was in my office, and then I walked up here to like change my clothes, do my hair and all that kind of stuff before I film, because I broke the cardinal rule and I usually film this video by itself, and today I'm filming it after I filmed a bunch of other things, but it's fine. And so that's why I have like stuff everywhere. But I was like, oh well, the lighting's actually not too terrible in here, which kind of surprised me. So I thought we might switch it up and sit here on the floor in front of the Christmas tree and, you know, just have a nice chill little time. So that's what we're doing. We'll see, maybe this will become a new spot. We'll do Vlogmas later. Let's talk first just about November and all of that kind of stuff. And specifically, I always ask for what y'all want to see in the coffee chats, and some people asked about details about the Cyber Monday sale. So let's chat. So November has been a weird month. November has been a really strange month. Honestly, it was a little bit of a blur. I was sick for a little bit, and then we had, you know, like a Thanksgiving break, and so like things were just a little bit different, and had a lot of different things going on. Because of Thanksgiving break, I redid the entryway and had a good time with that, and it just, you know, things were just a little bit different. So November went pretty well, like on a macro level. Income wise, like in my TPT store, I'm looking right now because I don't know. I'm 2 days away from the end of the month, and I'm about $1,000 away from last year this month. So I'm in that, like, I'll be really close. I will either hit last year or be like just under or just above. I'm kind of hoping, looking at today, I feel like I could probably hit it, but we'll see. But overall, that's kind of where I'm hovering, and honestly that's where I've been hovering for most of the year. If you saw the recent TPT town hall, they talked a lot more in detail about that, because overall on TPT they've seen a decline in sales, and they shared like the percentages of all of those things. Peppermint mocha, by the way. And they were talking about the kind of like all the factors going into that, and just how overall, like the last school year, basically people were just like pouring money into the school system, which I felt as a teacher, because I actually got like a grant. I received the same grant 2 different years, and last year or the year before, I don't know, the more recent time that I won it, I got significantly, I think it was $3,000, and it used to only be $2,000. And so just little things like that. And now it's gone back down this year, because I just applied for it again. I'm just gonna apply for it every year, and we're just gonna see how it goes. But I have noticed that, like, you know, my old school, we got like all new computers, and we got all new like different things, and so people were really like pouring money into all these different like educational resources. And since our new CEO is also the CEO of IXL, he can see those trends across many different platforms, and he said overall this year there's kind of a decrease in spending, and he said it was like the first normal year since like 2019. So he was like, basically you need to compare this year to 2019 and not to the past couple of years, because things were just so wonky the last couple of years, which for me is not great data, because 2019 I had just had my store for a year, and so, you know, things were just a lot different back then. And so, you know, take that with a grain of salt, but just be aware that that's kind of where he's thinking. So like spending being more normal than it was, on top of inflation contributing to that. yeah, so I think basically what happened is that last year my numbers ended up way more inflated than they should have been because of those things, and then this year they're kind of more like mellowing out. So there's hope for next year. I hope. But yeah, so I'm about $1,000 away and it's still 2 days out. I am actually at the end of the TPT Cyber Monday sale, which was another question that people asked. And so yesterday, today's the second day. So on Monday I made 200 less than last year. And I'm currently 100 less than last year, but it's only 730. So I might equal, I will probably at least match last year for the second day of the sale. I don't know if it will go over or by how much, so we shall see. But overall, I have felt like the numbers have been a lot more normal this year, or this month, which is probably just in my head because I can see like it's still pretty close to last year, but I don't know, maybe it's my expectations of realizing like this is what's happening. But overall it's been okay. So that's where I am. I did today surpass last year's income. So normally I do hit that much earlier in the year, but this year I just hit it today. So pretty much anything that I make from now until the end of the year will be, you know, more than last year. So I'm not sure by how much more, but it was exciting to finally at least hit that point. So that's kind of where I'm at for the year and all of those kind of things. There's so many factors that go into all of this that it's really hard to be like, this is the reason or that's the reason. And I look at things that I've done and been like, oh, you know, if I had done XYZ, maybe it would have been better or worse, or, you know, who knows. And that's just kind of where I am at this point, and I'm really currently focused more on next year and how I can set myself up for success next year, and trying to really think outside the box and think like, how can I grow a bit more next year. And so I do have, one of the questions was about my goals for next year. Do I have goals in mind? Yes, I already have a list of my like tentative goals for next year and plans. I don't finalize them yet, but I like to do those really early so I have time to kind of like mull them over and think about them. And I find that I get much better results if I take the time to really think through what I want long term. Part of the reason that I am focusing on next year is because these next couple weeks are my absolute busiest weeks of the year. Really, next week is the busiest week of the year. My next week I have, let's see, next week I have Monday, choir rehearsal. Tuesday, my first and second graders are having a concert, which I'm in charge of course. Wednesday, my choir is having a concert, also in charge of, like my choir, my kids that I teach. Then on Thursday I have a dress rehearsal for my choir concert. Friday, Saturday I sing in choir concerts. So literally I was like, okay husband, I won't be home at all next week. Like literally I will not be home for dinner at all. We're gonna have to eat either like sandwiches or Chick-fil-A every day. That's just where we are. So that is my craziest part of the year, and it happens like this every year. And then in that I also have 2 field trips next week and a field trip the week after. But honestly, if I can get through like next week, the week after, and like that's the only thing I have to worry about is the one super chill field trip to the retirement home, which will probably be fine. So that is kind of like all that I've got going on. So if you also have a really crazy situation coming up in the next few days or weeks, couple little things that often help me. One is planning ahead. So for example, I have been filming a lot of extra videos today, and I'm doing that in preparation for next week, knowing I'm not gonna be able to film next week because of all the craziness other than like vlogs or things like that. But I'm trying to get things filmed ahead of time so that I don't have to stress about that next week. Also just having things planned out accordingly, like, oh, hey, I'm not gonna be home for dinner, so we have to find some sort of solution for that. And just being aware of those things really helps as well. And you know, I find a lot of it is your expectations. So if your expectation is, oh, this is gonna be super crazy, then you're at least not shocked when it is. And so just kind of going into those weeks with the right attitude of like, it's gonna be crazy, it's gonna be busy, it's gonna be chaotic, but it's gonna be fine, is also a really helpful. Now during this really crazy, you know, week and weeks, I also thought it was a great idea to do Vlogmas, which officially starts today. Vlogmas is my favorite thing of the year. It brings me so much joy, and this year I was really thinking like, oh, should I do it, should I not do it? Like it's a lot on top of all the other things, and I really thought about not doing it, but I just love Vlogmas. Like I literally created this channel because I wanted to do Vlogmas. Like literally a few years ago I split because I decided to take the vlogs off of my main channel because I felt like they were hurting the growth over there. And also long term I have some other thoughts and ideas that we'll cross later. But I was like, but then I can't do Vlogmas if I don't have vlogs on my main channel. And so literally I started this channel because I wanted to do Vlogmas. And so this is our 3rd year on this channel. Maybe 5th year total? Probably, yeah. 2019 was the first year I did it because it was before COVID. So, but I just have so much fun with Vlogmas. So currently I'm not entirely sure what videos I'm gonna do because I have more ideas than I have videos, and also I've just been doing a lot of contemplating about what's coming up, you know, for this channel and where, you know, what direction I wanted to go. I'm very like contemplative this year, essentially. And so I do know for sure though that there will be vlogs. So I'll vlog every day and I'll combine those into a couple of days at a time. So I'll vlog everything from now until Christmas. In addition to that, I will be doing some other videos. So the wrap and chat video is always a hit, so we'll definitely be doing that. We're gonna do some planning with me's for next year. We're gonna talk about reflecting, and we're gonna talk about goals, and we're gonna talk about all that kind of stuff. And then we're also gonna do, there's gonna be lots of decorating videos. We're gonna have 5 trees this year. Yeah, I'm so excited. So our main tree got a makeover. It is, spoiler alert, it's golden red this year. This is our old tree, and this is, I'm in the loft area, so this is our old tree. And so I took the ornaments from the previous years, like the candy cane situation, and put it on this tree, which I think looks better anyway. And then downstairs is like super fancy with like our golden red, and it's beautiful. We got a new tree for the bedroom, and it is gold and navy and green, and it is so pretty. Husband got a tree for his office because we just redid it, and so it's like a burgundy gold kind of situation. And then I have the tree in my office. So literally like next year, if I get a tree for the craft room, every room in our house will have a tree, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. You can see a tree from everywhere. So I'm excited. I have 4 out of 5 decorated, so I need to do my craft room. I haven't done that one yet, but then I'll have everything. So lots of like decorating videos. I have a lot of DIY videos I want to do because I really like those, and I like making those videos. I think they're just so much fun. I like watching them as well, and so I have a couple of those kind of things coming up, and I'm just so excited for all the Christmassy things, and you can see how I deal with the craziest week of my life. So that's what's coming up in Vlogmas for 2023, and if there's something that you want to see, definitely let me know. We're gonna kind of do like the first half of Vlogmas is more like Christmassy kind of related, and then the second half will be more like goals and planning and like that kind of stuff as we like get closer to January and do all of those things. All right, I did want to address a couple of questions that I have got. I kind of already talked about. Sometimes I just turn it into like a talking point and I don't like read off the question. One that kind of went with what we're already talking about is, did you meet your financial goals with TPT being slow? I might still be up for the year, but I'm not up on TPT from my goal for the year. Financially, like I've definitely been okay, like I've been fine, especially because it's been very steady. Like every month has been very similar to the last month, but it has been slow. And did you make that up in other places? Somewhat. I made a lot more money in courses this year than I have in years past. I had a course launch that went swimmingly, and that has continued to sell. So that has helped. The whole like teachable, made by teachers, like those kind of things have not made anything truly. They've been frankly such a huge disappointment. I did see more the last like 2 months than before, so maybe there is hope for them, but I'm not holding my breath on any of those being super exciting in the long run. And then the next question, 2 more questions I wanted to address today. And so the next one is, if you make a Google resource on TPT and then update it, do you need to re-upload it to TPT? If it is the same file, no, you just update it and then people can just re-download it and you don't have to mess with anything. So only if you make a new file is when you would need to re-upload it. And then how long should I give after posting products to really analyze the product statistic data? It's not really a time, it's not like a certain number of days, but more it's how many views you're getting. So I would say wait until you have 300 to 500 views to really take any of that data seriously. If you have less than that, it's just not enough to really, you know, make heads or tails of it. Because if you have 5 people who purchase, you know, 5 people who look at your product and one of them purchases, that's 20%. But it's probably not really 20% because only 5 people looked at it, right? Right. So 300 is a good like starting point. I wouldn't take anything super seriously before that. You can look, of course, but just don't be stressed about it until you get to that point, and then you can get much more deeper diving into that. So that would be my 2 cents about updating products. I will say I have found a lot of success in updating some of my older products, and I specifically, like in October, I updated, no, November. Yeah, I had a Thanksgiving product that I updated and it sold so well after I updated it. It already sold okay, but after I did the update, like it just sold so much better. I also was able to raise the price because I did update it and added a bunch of stuff to it. So that was really helpful. And just overall, like for me mentally, not being ashamed when someone purchases it is a really big thing. So I have some updates coming for some Christmas holiday resources. Well, I just did one, and then I have another one that I'm like almost done with. So I need to finish that one up so I can get that posted. So that, again, maybe we can raise the price. More people will purchase because it's way better than it used to be. And it just, anything you can do to update has been really helpful. And I'm really excited to dive more into that for next year. I'm realizing that I didn't talk about what books I read in November because I don't fully remember. So maybe let's go take a walk and we can talk about it. Please hold. All right, so sneak peek on another Christmas tree. This month I just finished this book, Miss Fleming Falls in Love. It was quite sappy, just like a cute little historical fiction. It was free on my Kindle. I usually do free ones on my Kindle. It was really cute though, and I did really like it. I also read The Girl from Portofino this month, which looks like, that's not what you look like. Okay, so I also read The Girl from Portofino. This one is a World War II book about Italy in World War II, which I feel like is kind of fun because usually we talk specifically about Germany. We don't talk as much about Italy. And so that has been a little bit more interesting. I shared that one last month. Okay, so those are my 2 Kindle books. Let's go downstairs and see what I put on my little stack of books that I finished. And I won't finish the ones I'm currently working on before it's time. So there's the 2. My pretty new bedspread. Okay, let's go. All right, excuse the mess if you can see it. I always put the books I've finished in a little pile to help me remember them a little bit better. So I did finish this one called Mexican Gothic. I started it as like a Halloween kind of spooky book. It is definitely on the spookier side. I would describe this as like Wuthering Heights meets maybe like The Alchemist. It kind of just reminded me of The Alchemist for some reason. I'm not really sure why, but it did. Like Wuthering Heights and The Alchemist, spooky situation in Mexico. Very interesting. Not for the faint of heart. Oh, the girl from Portofino, also not for the faint of heart. Because it's war, so there's some not super fun moments in that one. So just FYI, if you want something cute, read the Miss Fleming Falls in Love, because that one's way cuter and much more fluffy. But this one is definitely on the like spookier kind of side, which I know some of y'all are into that, and all of those, like that Colleen Hooper lady who's really famous. I've never read her books, but spookier, but really fascinating, really interesting. It's not one I'm gonna read like a million times over again, but it was fun. And then nonfiction, I only finished one, sorry, but this book is so good. This is one of the best books I've read. I already want to reread it. It was so good. I will link all of these down below, but definitely this one. It's all about telling stories, and although I'm not like a storyteller, I read it because I want to get better at writing and like that for content purposes and for writing books and things like that. Which I don't write fiction books, but still just to get better with all of those kind of things. And it has a very practical advice in there. It's really interesting, good for if you're giving presentations or just if you're telling stories in any way. And oh, I never took the price tag off this dress. Awesome. And so I would highly recommend that one over even anything else. So definitely check that one out. And all right, that's 4. That's not bad for November. I didn't read like anything last week because I was really busy, but let's show you. Let's do you one better. I didn't read anything last week because I was very busy doing this. Look how beautiful. Also garland. But I did picture frame molding. Top, it's actually on the bottom too, but we're gonna move this so it's not in front. And the top, and then the top, and then up there, and I painted the door, and I painted the walls, and then we added these sconces and the mirror, and that just looks so good. So I was very busy over Thanksgiving break, did not get a lot of other things done. I basically did this for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then into Thursday. I was finishing it Thursday morning, and then Thursday morning, oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't tell you the story. Thursday morning, I cleaned up all day long after I finished that because I was painting this wall on Tuesday night. It was like 9 o'clock and I had just started to paint this wall. So there's, you know, my house is a disaster with just stuff everywhere. There's paint and caulk and sawdust and everything. And I get a text from my mom and she's like, my granddad had a cold, so they were supposed to host Thanksgiving and they didn't want to do it anymore. So she was like, yeah, so we're gonna have it at our house. And so I called her and I was like, Mom, where are we gonna sit? Because they have like a little tiny like circle dining room table that like barely seats 4, and it's pushed up against the wall, so you can really only seat 2 right now unless you like move the whole thing. So she was like, well, I can pull out a card table, or we could sit and, you know, eat on trays on the couches. And although like that would have been fine, I was like, do you want to come to my house where I have like an actual table that can seat all of us? And she was like, oh, I hadn't even thought about that. So we ended up hosting Thanksgiving. I'm like painting the wall and I'm like, this is a terrible idea, but here we are. So I spent all of Thursday cleaning. We moved, normally we eat at like 1 or 2. We didn't eat until like 4. Because I was like, I'm gonna need a little more time. Then I, you know, did the whole Thanksgiving thing, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, decorated all day long. did not finish, so I need to get to that right now. But first I'm hungry, so I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna go find some food, and then I'm gonna do some decorating, and I feel like I need a bath because it is really cold and the door's open because the dogs are outside and it's 44 degrees out there and it's chilly. So yeah, okay, food, maybe bath, decorating, and I will see you in Vlogmas. For you, it's only gonna be like a day or two. For me, it's gonna be a couple more days because, you know, gotta get things done ahead of time. So here we are. Look at the pigs. All right, okay, bye.